Hey everybody, I wanted to do a tool review for you. I just made a couple purchases. Before I dive into what we bought and what I think of them coming out of the package, I want to give you a kind of a background on my experience, what tools I've been using. I've only got one that I would consider a good lathe tool. I do have a Robert Sorby 3/8 inch spindle gouge. That's probably the only good piece of steel that I've got. The other chisels I have, most of them came from Harbor Freight, the cheap set that you buy right off the rip. They've done well, good enough for me, but I've decided it's time to upgrade my tools a little bit. I have had the Easy Wood Tool carbide bits for a while, and I had a set of carbide bits that I bought off of Amazon, a fairly cheap set as well. I feel like I'm at the point now where using the traditional lathe tools, I've become very comfortable with them. I've learned how to use them much more over the past year or so now. I'm getting a much better finish with those tools than I ever could dream of getting with the carbide tools. So like I said, I wanted to take a small step up in quality. Like I said, since I've had the Robert Sorby spindle gouge, I've noticed that it holds an edge much longer. It is much higher quality tools. So I'm going to try. These aren't the bottom of the line like the Harbor Freight tools, but they're certainly not top of the line tools either. The first tool that I want to look at straight out of the bag is going to be a Hurricane. It does show that it is a bowl gouge, high-speed steel, 3/8 inch flute, 1/2 inch bar stock. So it's a 1/2 inch bowl gouge with a 3/8 flute. So coming straight out of the bag here, straight from Amazon. It certainly looks to me decent quality right out of the package. It does look like it's pretty good quality. I mean, the handle looks solid. I don't know if that's a maple handle, but certainly looks quality. I don't see any splits anywhere. It does look like there's a little bit of a gap in the ferrule, which they've got a punch here to hold the ferrule on, so maybe that little bit of a gap won't be an issue, but I'll have to keep an eye on that in the future, make sure that doesn't split. We've got the wax tip protecting the cutting edge, and the cutting edge, I don't know if you can tell, but it does look sharp, a nice cutting edge. It's a deep fluted bowl gouge. I think this, I'm pleasantly surprised with this. This Hurricane Bowl Gouge cost, I'll go back and double check the figures, but I believe it was $48 and some cents. For a 1/2 inch bowl gouge, that's certainly about half the price that I was expecting to pay for a quality tool. So right now I'm pleasantly surprised with the way it looks. The real test is going to come on the lathe, which will come next. But I like the way that looks right out of the package. All right, so next we've got two scrapers. Now these are Benjamin Best scrapers. They're produced, I believe, by Penn State Industries. I did read some reviews where these handles had a tendency to split. Now I don't know if that was just bad luck. They don't look very beefy up at the top here compared to, say, the Hurricane tool. Up at the top is much thicker. So you know, maybe that's has something to do with it. Regardless, I mean, even if we do have handle issues, you can always rehandle these fairly easily. I do have some ferrules, brass pipe fittings, and I was prepared to do some rehandling of some tools that I have right now anyway, so this might be something to think about. The steel itself looks great, very clean cutting edge. I'm surprised I didn't think, or I didn't see, this has a cutting edge clear down, what, 3/4 of the way down the blade. So a nice curve at the top. and I wasn't expecting that. I thought the cutting edge was going to stop nearer the top. The markings on the blade here says inboard high-speed steel M2. These are supposedly an M2 cutting tool, 25.4 millimeter, 1 inch. So I'll let you take a look at that. The M2 Benjamin Best bowl scraper, 1 inch. Believe it or not, the ferrule looks better on these than the Hurricane tool. I'm not sure what wood we're using here either. But yeah, overall, I think the steel is going to work out nice. So these, as a set, both of them were under $50 for both of them. So we're looking at $25 a tool. Upon further inspection on Penn State Industries website, I've noticed that they have quite a few tools that are extraordinarily inexpensive, especially if these are all M2 steel. If these hold up the way I'm expecting them to, I'll likely be purchasing more from their site. I mean, I was seeing bowl gouges for $20, $25, which would be incredibly cheap. So if these are decently quality at all, I'm going to be investing in more of these. Even if I have to rehandle each and every one of them, it'd be worth it. So I really think for the price point, these are, especially the Hurricane tool. This Hurricane tool reminds me a lot of the Robert Sorby, just looking at it. Now, obviously, it could be quite a bit different once we get steel to wood and start having to sharpen the tip. That'll be interesting to see. But as of right now, I'm pleasantly surprised. I think these are going to be good purchases. So next step, we're going to get out there on the lathe. We're going to turn some wood. We're going to see how they cut, and we're going to see how they sharpen up and how well they hold their edge. So we'll see you on the lathe. It's a cold day out in the shop, folks. We got about a half a foot of snow outside. We're just getting started. I'm chilly. Anyway, got this nice piece of burl here. Got it roughed down. I roughed it down with my bowl gouge that I've been using. This thing, I've had it for a while. I mean, I'm down to just not much left on the cutting surface here. It's done an okay job, to be honest with you. I don't know, I haven't hated it. Got a long fingernail grind, kind of an Ellsworth grind on it. Kind of a, honestly, kind of an asymmetric grind as well. I use this side for more of the shear scraping, and this side is a little bit stouter to get into bowls. But anyways, it's done me well. I really can't argue with it. I don't remember what it is. But anyways, I've got it cut down to near round here. I've got a little flat spot on it yet, somewhere right there. So what I'm gonna do is take the old Hurricane. I haven't touched the edge on this yet. I did put it through some wood, obviously. We've got some shavings on it. It looks like it's got more of like a 40-40 grind on it right now, which if I'm being honest, I'm probably not gonna leave. But it's sharp and it does cut. So I'll give you one kind of push cut here to get it completely flat. Show you what that looks like. Took my time, was real nice and slow. Only did about a 1 mil cut there, not much. I mean, really, the surface looks pretty good. I don't know what you can see. I really can't complain with that. This is burl, so there's grain going all over the place. There's a little bit of picked up grain, a little bit of tear out there. It's really not bad at all though for a push cut like that. There's even some quilting in here, chatoyance, quilting, wavy grain, whatever you want to call it. So can't argue with that. So now what we'll do is take the scraper, maybe. So I'll show you what I did with it. I gave it a little bit more of a flat spot on the top, brought the curve around so that this way I can use, I'm hoping to be able to use this as kind of a refiner, like Thomas, man, I'm sorry. I don't know his name. Tomachek, he's one of my favorite YouTubers, student of Richard Raffin. He's got a refiner he just put out. I've been thinking about buying, but I'm going to see how this does first. But anyways, with the flatter spot, and then carry the curve around so that way I can use it as a refiner, hopefully on the top, and a bowl gouge or a bowl scraper over here. Didn't do a pull edge, just got the burr straight off the grinder. Let's see how this goes. I'm just going to do a flat, not a shear scrape, just a flat scrape. Get the rest up a little high here. I'm just going to try to do really, really wispy shavings here to try to get a real nice finish on it. That's a little too high. I mean, you can't argue with that. That's pretty wispy. Let's see what the surface looks like. I think I'm going to have to go a little bit harder in this area. It definitely, it's not tore out like it was before necessarily. Well, man, that looks pretty good, to be honest with you. Let me try a slightly harder pass just to get through. I mean, I can't even call that tear out. That's just a little different. Let's try it one more time with a little harder pass. See what that looks like. Where's that area? Right through. Oh man, it's gone. Super smooth. I'll tell you what, that worked well. The only thing I can't do with that shape is a shear scrape, because I don't have, because of this edge on it here, or this curve. Because with the shear scrape, you got to go with the bottom half of the tool. I mean, I could, but I don't have a whole lot to go off of there. Once again, real nice shavings. Let's get that light back down here. I got to get some better lights in the shop. Boy, that's about as good as you can ask for a finish. Man alive, I don't even think I'd have to sand that, really. Like I said, I wanted to try this burl because of all the different grain direction and everything. I figured there'd be a couple spots that would be wanting to pick up, but that looks good. I'll tell you what. All right, so next I already turned a tenon on this, so I'm gonna put it in a chuck. Do some, turn it bowl coring out, I guess you call it. See if you can see that. I mean, that is a real nice finish. See all that quilting in there, and I mean, it's smooth. There's no picked up grain. It's nice. My fingers are turning red because it's so cold out here. So let's do this kind of quick, huh? Okay, let's use, get my smaller tool rest here. Let's use the Hurricane. Let's see how she does with this. Whoop, that was my fault. I don't love the edge on it. I think I'm gonna have to already put this in on the grinder. It doesn't feel like it's cutting real great. Feels good. Feels like a clean cut. Take a look at it. I mean, it's Obviously I didn't go very deep, and if you can see past my breath, it's not very smooth at the bottom, but that's just all that burl. Highly figured here. So let's put a scraper in there and see what happens. Raise the tool rest. Oh man. Get to where I can see a little bit. Not a very good curve for this bowl. I'll try to do a clean cut, real nice, light. And once again, the shavings are great here. Tomislav, that's his name. Tomislav. Okay, much cleaner. Taking a few cuts here, and I have to tell you, the scrapers are exceeding my expectations. I can still feel burr on her. I don't know how long I should expect this to keep a cutting edge. As far as a scraper. Now, obviously with the bowl gouge, I can I can estimate that. I can see what I think about that. But the scraper, I haven't used a scraper. Just watch Richard Raffin and Thomas Love use it all the time. And to be honest, I just wanted one because of, you know, how clean it leaves the finish. And I'll tell you what, no doubt in my mind that the scraper is where it's at. I'm very impressed with the scraper. And honestly, after feeling this is the big one, after feeling it in my hands, cutting, you're not taking super aggressive cuts with this anyway. This is meant for finishing. I mean, maybe if it was a square end scraper, you could get in, but I especially with this tool, I'm not going to be doing any really aggressive cuts here. I think the handle's more than fair. Now, obviously, we could see some issues with it rise up in the future, but it feels good in my hand. It's stable. There's not chattering. It might be the smoothest feeling tool that I've had in my hand. For those of you watching that don't know, first of all, I'm going to suggest that you go and you watch Thomas Love and Richard Raffin talk about using a scraper, because that's where I get 100% of my knowledge, if I'm being honest with you. But with a scraper, you want it to be slightly above center, and you want the handle of the tool to be raised slightly. You just want to make sure that the cutting edge and what you're cutting is less than 90 degrees. So if it's completely flat, it's 90 degrees. You want it less than 90 degrees. So you have to have your tool rest above center, because you want to be cutting at center or slightly above center while you're cutting. With the tool, or I'm sorry, with the handle raised, dropping the nose down, that's why you need to be slightly above center. I like the feel of this scraper going through wood. It's satisfying. So satisfying, I'm just taking cuts on this walnut burl just to do it. A little bit of chatter there. I think the wood's already moved a little bit because this is green stuff. Trying to take a heavy cut. Not too close. I feel like it might be losing its edge. It is. Yeah, we still got an edge over here. That top part's losing its edge. So, the burr. Back to the wood. Yeah. That might be the downfall. I mean, you can tell the shavings are back. It definitely lost its edge there. You watched every cut I made. So, I'm definitely not going to be taking it to the grinder every time it loses its edge if it's losing it that quick. So I'll have to hone the edge, which that's what Richard and Tomislav do. And if honing the edge keeps it a while longer, we'll just have to do more tests and find out. I'll tell you what, it's cold out here. I'm freezing. Let me go inside, get warmed up, and we'll do a kind of recap and go from there. We'll see you inside. All right, we're back inside. I can feel my fingers again, so that's good. Just want to kind of put a little bit of a bow on this. To be quite frank, I came into this thinking that the Hurricane tool was going to come out really good. I for whatever reason, I thought this was going to be a great tool. And I'm not saying it's not, it is. I am going to change the grind on this. I don't love this grind. Definitely want a longer wing on the left-hand side. But that's my personal preference. As far as the tool's concerned, it's great. No chattering. It felt solid in my hand. It cut fine, and that was factory edge. I still haven't sharpened this one. So great tool. For the price, I think it's certainly worth buying for a bowl gouge. If you don't want to spend an extraordinarily large amount of money, I think it's certainly worth buying. I like it. The big surprise for me, and I wasn't holding out much hope to this thing, but this Benjamin Best scraper, it really shocked me. I really enjoyed cutting with this thing. Obviously you saw that it did lose its edge really quite quickly. However, I don't know if that's standard or not for a scraper, since this is the first bowl scraper that I've owned. So that would be a question better suited for somebody who has a little bit more experience in that field. But I can tell you this, I'm going to be buying more Benjamin Best tools. They're cheap. I showed you the clip, the screenshot of the other tools that they had available. I'm going to be buying a couple more of these scrapers. They work really, really, really well. I'm going to be buying a couple of these scrapers for sure. With the price point where they're at, I'm going to get a square end scraper from them. I'm probably going to get another one of these, maybe even two more. I want to get one where I can completely redo the edge. I don't want to necessarily have to have this curve. The curve would be very beneficial for a bowl, and I think what I'll do is probably go back and put more of a gradual curve on this for bigger bowls, and I'll have another one just like this to do significantly less of a curve for just finishing cuts on the outsides of projects, shear cutting. And who knows, I may go back and pick up a Tomislav signature tool. because I'm sure he makes great products too. I'm sure of it. So, but honestly, very, very surprised with the quality of the Benjamin Best tool. I can tell you, compared to my Windsor tools from Harbor Freight, there's certainly a big jump in quality and the quality of cut, the quality of tool and the quality of cut. Certainly a big jump in both of these. I won't be buying the Harbor Freight tools any longer, I can tell you that much. Whether or not, you know, I stick with Benjamin Best and that's what I go with from now on, I couldn't tell you. You know, if there's that big of a jump between the quality of tool that I've been using and this, if there's the same jump in quality from this to, say, you know, Robert Sorby or Crown Tools or you know, anything around those price ranges, I guess you could say, then maybe that is, you know, what I go to in the future. But as of right now, where I'm at for the price point, I can't recommend these more. I really can't. Obviously, you know, if you're an experienced wood turner, you've probably already got your tool of choice and that's what you're sticking with, and that's cool. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. If you're not experienced, if you're in the market and you're going, I wonder what I should buy, I'm here to tell you, give Benjamin's Best a shot. That's just based off of this. I can't tell you how surprised I was on how well that thing cut. So hopefully I gave you some good information. Hopefully you got some use out of this video. If it wouldn't be too much of an ask, definitely hit like, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me what you think in the comments about this video. Tell me what you liked that I did. Tell me what you wish I would have tested out. I'm more than likely going to have a follow-up video on this because I want to see how they hold up long term, especially this bowl gouge. Obviously, I want to see how the edge holds up over that long term. And doing some burnishing with the scraper. I want to see how that plays out over time. So definitely, if there's some other tests that you want me to run on these tools before you pull the trigger and make a purchase, shoot me an email, put it in the comments, say, hey Adam, that Benjamin Best scraper, you know, it'd be really cool if you could try, you know, maybe going in and, I don't know, you know, whatever. Try this grind. Try the Tomislav refiner, you know. Hit me up. Check out Benjamin Best. And I think this goes without saying. I mean, what do I have? 50 followers, maybe? No, I don't even have 50 followers right now. This video is going to get, what, a couple hundred views? I'm not sponsored. They didn't send me these. I bought these tools, let's be honest. So this is strictly my opinion, unbiased opinion. I appreciate you stopping by, folks. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, comment. Love y'all. See you on the next video. Later.